Hello, everyone. It's been a couple weeks. It's November 16, 2022. Glad to be back. I've seen a lot of things over the last couple of days. Had a lot of things go through my mind and rolling them around, seeing how I feel. As for you Americans out there, if any of you ever catch this, the midterm elections just happened for this year, and that's been very, very interesting. Kind of inspiring, though I don't believe I'm ever really going to get into politics too much. I mean, unless one day, by some miracle, people actually start listening to the shit I have to say, and perhaps if they ask my opinion on it. Specifically for today, however, it's been inspirational to see that how, despite lots of warnings of, either war or, lack of funds for whatever food people have been warning about, people are living their lives and going about their lives in a very kind of, not to say nonchalant, but you'd almost believe that these things are not actually happening. And weirdly enough, it kind of makes me happy. You see that human spirit, that human capacity to stand in the face of all fear and to kind of just go about their lives, almost as if you would say that we're like completely oblivious, just mindless creatures running around, whereas it's not the case. Many of us, if not all of us, we have our lives, we have our families. Some of us, wives, children, husbands, children from those husbands, so on and so on and so forth. Grandmothers, grandfathers, your jobs, the cars that we love, the homes that we love, the activities we like to do, and no matter how high up those activities are, how much money they cost, or on the opposite end, how easy it is to just, take a walk at the park or visit your local museum, whatever it is that you like to do. Go to your local hall or whatever, read a book. All these things are happening. And despite the fear mongering and all this, bullshit, nonsense, whatever your stance is on COVID, it's not what it was a year and a half, 2 years ago. And what it's becoming, I don't know. You have this entire group of people who are like, oh man, the last 2 years and the last 3 years, I've been, depressed, taking pills. Some people are drinking themselves to death. Others are doing nothing but fucking. It's like, there's that. But then there's also a bunch of, oh, I didn't even feel it. Like now I'm ready to go out there and do all this stuff. It's like there was only 2 years, and you have, typically speaking, it's like this newer generation of, I would say, as far as I can say, perhaps I would call them children, but are they that much younger than me? I don't know. Culturally speaking and technology speaking, I guess they are. But, it's inspiring to see that though many of us fell into depression, many of us fell into financial strains, and that is very sad, in my opinion. It's unfortunate, even more so than sad. But for a lot of us, it is what we chose. For some of us, it's not what we chose. We weren't against it. We are where we are now. You can't change the past. That's all right. But for those specific few or many, I cannot count them right now. I cannot say. What I can say is what I've seen for myself, though it may be my own personal opinion. Lots of people coming up mentally strong, physically strong. They're going to the gym, they're reading the books, or, listening to YouTube, videos, but they tell you that they're reading, whatever it is. But they're getting themselves educated, not in the sense of classical school education, but in the sense of understanding the world that they live in. And that is something that as individuals, especially for a younger generation to be able to know where they stand, to see the things in front of them, to get a foothold on what their own individual sovereignty as well as their financial sovereignty is, once again, it is inspiring to see. I know that not everyone comes or hails from the same background. I know not everyone starts from the same possibilities. Some of us are born, with a lot more than others. But as much division as I've witnessed over the past couple of years, there's also this incredible amount of unity between different races, different cultures, but most importantly, between people who come from different classes and or financial situations, helping each other and explaining to each other what life is like on the other side, and or skills, abilities, or techniques that is transferable, for lack of better words, between both parties and or both situations. Maybe it's just me who's gotten into the game right now, listening to the people on YouTube, as well as, having discussions with multiple people from multiple different backgrounds on a regular basis, that me as an individual, I'm starting to see this level of communication that was, I guess you could say, not seen before. But I'm holding out that it's not just me, and more people as the days come. And especially for this year with everything going on, that kind of communication and people asking around what others think and coming together in terms of, hey, at the end of the day, we're equally in this shit, although we may not be equal in terms of what we are capable of doing. We're all living on this tiny ass little speck of dust fucking planet, and we will either destroy ourselves or we will teach each other how to live. And as not just for myself, but perhaps what I've seen my grandparents, some of the older heads in my own community say, they see that a lot of these adversities, it kind of goes back to what I believe many people have said on the YouTubes or on the internet. People used to fight lions and they used to have to fight wars all the time. They didn't have phones that had the capacity, that our phones have today. And, you have access to porn, you have access to video games, you have access to pretty much anybody in the world, even if they speak a different language than you, through your phone. And it makes this whole society start to understand that the dangers of globalization are real, but there's also all these very positive things that I have this slight sliver of like tiny little dot on the distance there at the end of the tunnel light, saying that perhaps the level of globalization where you have one world power controlling everything is not really able to happen, whereas the level of capacity to transfer ideas of rebellion, ideas of we can help each other fight those that hold power up on us, is dwelling within the hearts of many. And it's like a little bit of a tiny fire on the floor, but I'm hoping one day it'll if I can help it, it'll blow up. It'll rage into more than what I can say, in this video right now, or that I care to say, due to my, I guess you could say, my giddy predisposition today. It's going to be good to see the next 2 months. I don't know as I'll be doing videos as days go by. The holidays are obviously lots of people that are around, people I speak to, as well as people that I want to do these videos with, are going to be less and less available. We'll see how things go. No matter what you do, whether you're on your own or you're with a family, or whatever your plans are. I like to say, or I like to think, others do too. Um, we live in the best timeline, or perhaps the most interesting one. But then again, I guess it's perspective, isn't it? From my perspective, it is.